Good afternoon, everyone. Has anyone got a copy of the agenda and the minutes?
Yes.
Does anyone have any comments?
No.
Then let's get started. We're here today to talk about a new international branch, Chutiman expanding our coffee shop to ASEAN, and we're looking for the best location to open our new coffee shop. And the first location we are going to talk today is Vietnam. What do you think about it, Penny?
Well, I think Vietnam is one of the best choices for us to consider. The reason is if you look at the initial cost and then the expected revenue in the first year, we only have cost for 2.2 million baht, but we can earn for 2.9 million baht. That means we can earn the profit for 700,000 baht in the first year, and more than that, we also have revenue growth 9% per year, which is the highest number if we compare with other countries we discussed.
That's interesting. And how do you feel about it, Golf?
I agree with Honey because Vietnam is the second largest coffee exporters in the world. In 2019, Vietnam produced coffee beans over 1.6 million tons. When we will invest in Vietnam, we will no problem with coffee supplier. Yes.
And let's hear from Jane.
Well, that's not a bad idea, but I think we have to concern about competition too, because right now domestic competition is facing a fierce, and whether they are specialist coffee franchising company like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, or it can be like local chains like Highlands. So those competitors use many strategy in order to gain their market shares. So if we want to penetrate the market, we have to put a lot of effort on this. We have to put like a lot of money and take some time, for us to gain the market share.
And what's on your view, Ning?
I agree with Jane because Vietnam produces coffee for exporting to other countries. According to the research, domestic consumption of coffee is only about 6%, which means local demand will be low as well. Moreover, domestic market is facing a fierce competition, as Jane said. So if we decide to invest in this country, you can see that our expected first year market share is only about 0.8%, which is very low.
Okay, thanks for your comments. In summary, I think Vietnam is an interesting country because it has a high revenue and profit, and it's also a great producer and exporter of coffee. But we have to consider about the competitions and consumer consumption in Vietnam. So Jane, could you please do a research about market size in Vietnam?
Sure.
And Honey, could you please do a research about an investment cost in Vietnam?
Of course.
And any other business?
No.
Then thanks everyone for attending and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's 1:00, so let's get started. And I think you have received the agenda and the minutes of our last meeting. So does anyone have any suggestions?
No.
Okay, for our latest meeting, we have discussed about the pros and the cons of establishing a coffee restaurant in Vietnam, which is the first location. And today, the purpose of this meeting is to discuss a coffee business in Indonesia, which is the country that we are considering to invest in. So, what do you think, Jane?
In my opinion, I think Indonesia is worth investing, as it is known as one of the world's top coffee producing. So we can source locally, and it provides us more flexibility because supplier can coordinate the shipment easier, and they can deliver quicker too. So due to that, we can reduce some supply chain costs like logistic one, and we can increase our bottom line too.
That's interesting. How do you feel about that, though?
I think market in Indonesia is still strong, and the consumption of coffee in Indonesia has increased 3 times from last year. And people have changed their lifestyle, so I think coffee shop will probably grow even more, and we will earn money from this new branch.
Not a bad idea. Honey, you look like you don't agree. Any reaction to that?
Yeah, I think we need more time to consider about this. We have to look at the number that we have to pay for the corporate tax. Well, even we have a big amount of the revenue or profit in each year, but if we have like more number, we have to pay high tax too. And if you look at the number that we have to pay, like this one, we have to pay like the most tax if we compare with other country. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for your comments. And any ideas about?
It's not a bad idea, but Indonesia is the Muslim nations. Coffee is one choice for them instead of alcohols. Moreover, as you can see from the graph, the annual rate of Indonesia is the first among 5 countries in Asia. If we invest in Indonesia, the sales will increase in the futures. Yes.
Okay, thanks everyone for your comments. Right, to sum up, Indonesia has a resource that can be sourced locally, and consumption growth is increasing as well. Moreover, coffee is the choice for Muslim people, but we have to consider to tax fee and other costs before investing. Okay, so Jane, could you do more research about local ingredients?
Yes.
And is going to research about consumption of coffee in next 2 years. And let us know about that by next Friday. Any other business?
No.
Okay, then the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming and have a good day.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I take it you received the agenda and the minutes of our last meeting. So does anybody has any comment?
No.
Let's get started. As you know, we are looking to establish an international chain, and last time we already talked about pros and cons of expanding a chain to Vietnam and Indonesia. So today we will discuss more about another potential location, which is Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So who would like to start the discussion?
Yes, me.
Oh.
Now I'm showing you the graph from kilometers. The first graph is the sales structures in 5 ASEAN countries. I will show you Malaysia. Yes, Malaysia have coffee cafes is 66% of ours over the countries. It will be the chance to invest in these countries. The next graph is the range of 1 cup of cappuccinos, coffees. As you can see from the graph, the price is highest than our average. The price is start at 3 to 6 US dollars. If we invest in these countries, the sales will increase and make more profitable. Yes.
Interesting. What's your view, Nim?
Well, I think we should invest in Malaysia because this country has a strong coffee culture, and a survey showed that the average Malaysian drinks 2 cups of coffee daily. And now drinking coffee is a lifestyle, especially among the younger generations. So the coffee consumption will increase as well. Based on the research, you will see that our expected first year revenue is around 22 million baht. So if we decide to invest in this country, I think our business will go well.
I agree with you to that point. So Honey, what do you agree with her?
No, well, I think I kind of disagree with you because we have other things to consider. It's cost. Like we have to consider the big amount of cost. So look at the staff salary each month. It's cost for 120,000 baht. That means like this number is just like big amount, like the biggest amount if you compare with other countries we discussed. And also we have the market share just for 0.9%, which is not enough for us to be satisfied.
And what about you, Don?
I think it's a good idea to open a new coffee shop in Malaysia. As you said, people there have changed their lifestyle and they tend to work and study at coffee shops and they like warm and nicely coffee shops. And our brand, Hong Lamun, has a comfortable and casual environment. I think it will attract a lot of customers to come to our new coffee shops.
Okay, thanks you all for the comments. So to sum up, overall, many of you think that it's a good option to invest in Malaysia because of the customer behavior and coffee drink culture. But Honey have mentioned that we have to concern about some high costs like staff salaries. So could you do more research on target market and send it to me by this weekend? And I also need to know if there is any possible way to reduce costs. Honey, could you do more research?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So any other business?
No.
So the next meeting will be at the same time and same place in next week. So thank everyone for your contribution. The meeting is closed. Enjoy your lunch.
Good afternoon, everyone. Has anyone got agendas and the minutes of our the meeting?
Yes.
Do you have any comments? As you know, our company is looking for a new branch in ASEAN countries. For the 3 last meetings, we will discuss about Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam. For today's, we will discuss about Myanmar. Jen, let's start with you.
Okay, well, for me, cost is a big measure to consider which country will operate a business. And in Myanmar, the initial cost is just only 1,500,000 baht, and other costs like labor costs or variable costs are lower too. So I think if we invest in Myanmar, it is much more cost effective for us to set up there.
Okay.
For me, I couldn't agree more with Jane to consider with cost. And also, if you look at the research that we got, like we have market share in Myanmar in the first year for 70%. That means if we invest in Myanmar in the first year, we get almost the whole market of Myanmar for 70%. And try to imagine with me if like the year after that and 2 years after that, we can probably get almost 100% of the whole market. And I think it's very good for us.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I tend to disagree as I see it. Tea culture has been developed in Myanmar society, which means tea shops still plays an important role in these communities. I think that tea shops were more than just a place for food and tea. From the survey, they said that cafe serves as a birthplace for some. The tea shop has an inclusive space for all. Moreover, tea shop occupy nearly every corner of the street. So I think it's take too much of a risk for ours.
Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I agree with him. I don't think we should open our new branch in Myanmar. I know that it is lower cost if we buy a coffee bean from Myanmar, but the quality of the coffee bean in Myanmar is still poor due to poor production technology in Myanmar, and that means we have to import coffee bean from other country, and that's not lower our cost.
Okay. Thanks for your comments. To conclusions, Myanmar have lower costs and highest market shares. But the disadvantages are deep-rooted tea cultures and poor qualities of coffee bean. Nim, can you do more research about tea cultures in Myanmar?
Of course.
Okay. Any other business?
No.
Thanks everyone for your contributions. Have a good lunch. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here on time. I guess everyone already got in the agenda and the minutes of our last meeting. Any comments for that?
No.
Good. Right now, let's talk about our breakout. As you all know that our restaurant, Coffee Hong, we need to expand our new branches to the country in ASEAN. We talked about it in the last 4 meetings. We have Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Myanmar. And right now, we have the purpose of this meeting is to choose which country we will expand our new branch to. We have Indonesia and Malaysia to discuss. And let's start with golf. You are in the research team, so what do you think about this?
I think Malaysia is the good choice for us. Although Malaysia have a high cost to operate, but if you see the expected revenues in the first year is 22 million baht, and initial cost is 11 million baht. So we can return cost and also get profit in the second years.
And what do you feel about it? Do you agree with him?
Yeah, I agree with Golf. I think Malaysia is a good country to open our new branch because Malaysia is the third largest in ASEAN and the revenue per head in Malaysia is higher than the country we have discussed before, and the demand of consuming coffee has continually increased over the year, and I think it was if we open a new branch in Malaysia.
What do you think about it, Jen?
Well, that's not a bad idea, but for me, I would go for Indonesia rather than Malaysia because one key factor that I think is important is the ease of raw material. I will explain more. If we invest in Indonesia, we can source locally. And as they are the world's top coffee producing countries, which has like an ideal climate for planting coffee, moreover, it can provide us more flexibility if we source local. Like we can save more money for logistic costs.
Alright. Any others comment?
Yes, they do. During this time, coffee house business in Malaysia are growing, and the government support the market and new venture to invest in the economy. Moreover, Malaysian locals still enjoy eating coffee as well.
Alright, thanks, Nim. I think for Indonesia, the Jane suggests that like it's good in easy to find the resource, good for the logistic, and for Malaysia, we have return costs and we can got profit for 100% in the first year that Gulf said, and Malaysia has good economy, and also as Nim said, like they have strong culture. And for me, I entirely agree with you three. And so to sum up, I think we should expand our new branches to Malaysia. And right now, Golf and Jane, can you do more research about the resort in Malaysia?
Yes.
And you two, can you do about the specific place that we can expand to in Malaysia? Alright, any other business?
No.
And don't forget that your own tasks have to finish before our next meeting on the 1st of April. Alright, so have a good day. Thank you for being here.